Hey guys, today I'd like to go over questions in negation because I know it's a hard topic for quite a few of you. Basically, you've heard about this in class, and this is the recap version of it with some practice as well. I'm going to switch to the screen where you won't see my face anymore, but you'll see the things you need to see, and you'll hear my voice. Okay, let's first of all look at the problem. What is the problem with question and negation in English anyway? Well, there are some sentences that work just like in Dutch. For instance, the sentence "I am fast." If I want to make a negation of that, and negation means ontkenning, then it's exactly the same like in Dutch. It's "Ik ben niet snel." I am not fast. Same goes for questions. Like in Dutch, we swap around. We invert the subject and the finite verb, persoonsvorm en onderwerp wisselen van plaats. Am I fast? But this only works with some sentences in English. As you can see in the other example, I walk fast. The negation of that sentence is not I walk not fast, but I don't walk fast. And the question of that one is not walk I fast, but do I walk fast? And the problem for us Dutch learners of English, it lies in when to use which. So when can we do it like in Dutch, and when do we need to use do, does, and did? Now let's go on to the trick I use for that, and that's called special or normal verbs. What you want to learn is that there are different types of verbs in English. There are special verbs and there are normal verbs. The special verbs are the easy ones because those work just like in Dutch. So, for instance, walk in that previous sentence was a special verb. Normal verbs, they're not the fun ones because those are the ones that use do, does, and did. Let's zoom in on special verbs a little bit. Which verbs are then special verbs? Well, shortly said, they are the copulars and the auxiliaries, the koppelwerkwoorden and the hulpwerkwoorden. But that only really works if you're good at Dutch, if you know these types of verbs in Dutch. So there's also the longer way there, and that's to study the forms by heart. And then it's all the ones that are written here on the list. So this is worthy of a note. So you might want to pause me for a second and write down special verbs, and then write down all the forms you see here. Once you've done that, you need to memorize them at some point. You need to know these by heart, otherwise it's not going to go fast enough. Okay, what to do with these? Well, first of all, let's carry on with normal verbs. What are then the normal verbs? Normal verbs are all other verbs. So if a word is not on the list of special verbs, it's normal. And most notably, because that's the most confusing one, is that to do is a normal verb. It was not on the list. Let's practice it a little bit because this always takes a moment before people can wrap their heads around it. Which of these 9 verbs are normal? So you need to try and figure out which of these verbs were on the list that you wrote for special verbs and which aren't. And if they're not on that list, they are normal. Pause me for a second so that you can think about the assignment, and then when you're ready, start me again. You have started me again, so I assume that you thought about it. Let's have a look at the answers for this one then. So the normal verbs were 2, 4, 5, 7, and 9. The other ones are all on the list of special verbs: are, shall, will, and have got, and therefore those are special. Okay. Now, what to do with the special and the normal verbs? Well, when we do questions, then the first thing you want to do, okay, we give you a sentence and we tell you make this into a question, is that you need to find the finite verb. And the finite verb is always the first verb in the sentence. And then you need to ask yourself, is that verb that you found special or normal? For instance, in the sentence, I am a teacher, the first verb of that sentence is am. Am is on the list of special verbs. If that's the case, and I need to make it into a question, invert subject and verb. So, am I a teacher? Just like in Dutch. Now, let's take another example. He walks the dog. The first verb in that sentence is walks. Walks is not on the list of special verbs, and therefore you need to use do, does, and did. In this case, you want to use does does he walk the dog, with a full verb for walk, by the way. If you're not sure when to use a do, does, or did, let's have a look at that in a second. Oh, there we go. So we use do for the present simple if the subject is not he, she, or it. We use does for the present simple if the subject is he, she, and it. And we use did for the past simple. Mind you, for does and for did, you need to really pay attention to adding the full verb. Now I skipped past a practice exercise, so let me go back to that. There we go. Okay, so I have a bunch of normal sentences for you, and I would like you to fill them in. Actually, no, let's not do this one just yet. I'd like to do a different one first. Yes. Okay, so here are a couple of sentences, 4 sentences, and you need to fill in do, does, or did. So pay attention to the subject and pay attention to is it present or is it past. Pause me for a moment, and when you're ready, you can start me again. You started me again, so let's do this. Here we go, the answers. So in the first sentence, you want to do because the subject was we, and it's a present simple sentence. So do we always see him on Tuesdays? In the second sentence, we were dealing with past before I told you. Voordat ik het jou vertelde, so in the past. So you use did. In the third sentence, it's about something she likes to do regularly. So this is a present simple sentence. The subject is she, so does she like to hug puppies? And in the last one, usually says it's present simple and the subject is I, so do I usually wear black? Okay, now that I've told you that, I actually can move on to the assignment. Here we go. I have 5 sentences for you guys. And please fill in, or sorry, please change these into questions. All of these are normal, so you don't have to think about the other sort yet. Just do the one with do, does, and did, please. Go ahead, pause me, and when you're ready, start me again. All right, you started me again, so let's try this together. In the first sentence, we have we wear shoes to dinner. We try and find our first verb in there, that's wear. As we already know, wear is normal. We need to decide on whether it's present or past. Wear is a present tense. The subject is we, so we use do. So we add do at the start of the sentence and we form do we wear shoes to dinner. In the second sentence, our verb is told, and told is a past tense of to tell. The subject is she, but it doesn't matter because it's in the past. So we just add did. Did she tell him about the kitten? Please check whether you used tell after did because it should be a full verb. In 3, he tries to help me. Tries is present simple. The subject is he, so we need to use does. And after does, we also use the full verb. So we use try, which is the full verb of tries. Does he try to help me? In 4, they never ride the bus. The verb is ride, which is present simple. The subject is they, so do they never ride the bus? In 5, ate is in the past because it's the past simple of to eat. So did you eat all the nice treats, with eat for your full verb? Now, what we also need to practice a little bit is how to do this with special verbs. So here we go. Here are 5 sentences for you with special verbs. So how again did you form questions with special verbs? Pause me and then we'll do it together. Okay, you've started me again, so let's do these together. I hope you checked your own rules as well, because you already wrote down that for special verbs, we need to invert subject and object. Subject and verb. So that means that we need to find the first verb in the sentence and we need to find our subject on the verb. In the first sentence, our subject is we and the first verb is are, so we swap them around. Are we having an open house? In sentence 2, subject she, verb will, so will she drink a bottle of water? In 3, first verb is have, subject is I, have I got an idea? In 4, they shall meet after school, first verb of the sentence is shall, subject is they, shall they meet after school? And in 5, first verb of the sentence is were, the subject is you, were you never nice to me? So that's the whole thing basically. Now I've got 4 sentences for you where I've mixed normal and special verbs. So you need to check which one to use before you can do this. So pause me again, and then when you're ready, start me up again. All right, so let's have a look at the answers then. In the first sentence, we are going to edit the piece. We found out that our finite verb is special because it's are. So if we make this into a question, it will be, are we going to edit the piece? In sentence number 2, our verb is lies, and lies is a normal verb of to lie. So we use, does Jane lie a lot to her teachers? In 3, the verb is went. Went is the past tense of to go and is a normal verb. So we need to use did here. Did Al go to the library? And in the last one, we have would, and would is a special verb. And that means we invert subject and verb. Would I never have done that? Okay, once you get the hang of the questions and how to work with special and normal verbs, negation is easy peasy because it's exactly the same. Special verbs are easy again because they work just like not like in Dutch. You can just add the word not after the finite verb. Voeg niet in zin achter de persoonsvorm. Ik ben niet gek. I am not crazy. Again, normal is the hard one because that's where you use don't, doesn't, and didn't. And again, it's with a full verb. So when you practice in a second, always take a moment to find out what the first verb of the sentence is. Is it special? Is it normal? If it's special, do it like in Dutch. Is it normal? Use don't, doesn't, or didn't. Here you go, 4 sentences again. You might recognize them because they are the same ones that you just made into questions. So maybe you remember which ones are special and normal. Pause me, form the negation, and then when you're ready, start me again. Okay, you started me again, so let's have a look at the answers. Okay, sentence number 1. We are going to edit the piece. The sentence was special because the verb was are. That means the negation of the sentence is we are not going to edit the piece, or we aren't if you'd like to contract the two if you're making it into a short form. In number 2, the verb is lie, and lie was normal. Jane is a she, so it's Jane doesn't lie a lot to her teachers. In 3, went was the past simple of to go. So we use didn't to make this one into a negation because go is a normal verb. Al didn't go to the library. And please note that in 2 and in 3, after doesn't and didn't, we use a full verb. Hele werkwoord. In 4, I would never have done that. Would is a special verb, so I would not or I wouldn't ever have done that. Okay. On to the final one, the final practice round, in which you need to form question and negation. So per sentence, go over the steps. Step 1 is always to find your finite verb. Then decide, is it special? Is it normal? And then decide on what to do. So pause me, look at the questions, and then start me again when you're ready. You have restarted me, so I'm going to assume you're done. JJ is very smart is our first sentence. The finite verb is, which is a special verb. So the question is JJ very smart? In the negation, JJ isn't very smart. In number 2, they will call him nuts. The verb is will. So the question is, will they call him nuts? And the negation is they will not call him nuts. If you want to form a short form of will not, it's won't. In 3, he played with the toys. Played is a normal verb in the past. So did he play with the toys or he didn't play with the toys for negation? Both cases, play has become the full verb again. So did he play and didn't play? Sentence number 4, Mary works very hard. Works is our finite verb, which is a normal verb in the present simple. And Mary is a she. So we use does Mary work very hard for the question, and Mary doesn't work very hard for negation. In 5, we play that game all the time. Play is a normal verb. So if we form a question of this one, we do we play that game all the time? And if we form negation, it's we don't play that game all the time. I have 10 seconds left to tell you that you can practice on the internet. For instance, at this website, tolearnenglish.com, if you want to practice more. And other than that, I hope this was helpful for you. Bye bye.